In these two videos by Derek Prince, there are wonderful principles. Before you see them, I want to present an even more wonderful principle. There's an old saying, light a lamp rather than cursing the darkness. You can get angry if there's darkness. But it's more effective to just do the work of lighting a lamp, which drives the darkness away. So, in these two videos, the basics of deliverance and breaking generational curses, Derek Prince, who is actually stuck in the lecture hall version of church, and Derek Prince is not teaching about the ecclesia that Jesus designed that was in place for 300 years, because just like you and I, he didn't really have experience with that. Over many, many years, accessing and meditating on the early church writings and the miracle signs and wonders, I realized something. It's exciting and wonderful. It's a celebration to run together and lock the doors and say, okay, is everybody doing okay? Is God asking you to do something that you're afraid of? Are there any fleshly mistakes that you've made that you want to throw down and let us carry you? Remember, we're to carry one another through our areas of weakness. So if you can inspire people to come together and check in. I mean, it's one thing to say, oh my gosh, I have an obsession with this thing. I better make sure that the darkness, that we throw rocks at the darkness and run away from the darkness and stay away from the darkness. It's another thing to come together and say, okay, is anybody having trouble in any area? Yes, I've been asked to go and talk to a family member, and I feel scared, and I know I need help. Jesus sent them out 2 by 2, inspiring people to the light that Jesus designed, which is gathering together in a cluster of at least 2 or 3 brothers and their families, all of their elders, all their women and children, and some amazing single people. A cluster in a home where men are totally real about all the ordinary stuff. Is your mind going crazy? Are you obsessed with desire about anything? Is your body going a little crazy? But more importantly, is there anything that you know that you're responsible to do and you're kind of not doing it? If there's anything that you're responsible to do and you're not doing it, well, just talk about it, because you don't have to do it alone. We're a family. And remember, Peter walked on water. He's a commercial fisherman, and he stepped out of his boat and he walked on water. A commercial fisherman does not step out of the boat in a storm thinking he can walk on water. He walked on water because he saw the power of somebody else. And it was on their faith that he took that walk. And yes, Jesus is God. But I'm telling you, there are people listening to this right now who have faith and strength in areas where I am weak. I am not a good administrator. I am not good at overseeing times and tasks and delegations. I'm better at thinking them up and writing down what the timing should be, but I need somebody else to implement things. And keeping priorities. I tend to be a very detail-oriented person, and I need to be teamed up with somebody who's more of an oversight person. Anyhow, as you listen to these videos, they're very important. Very, very, very important. But they are an entry level, and they are a battle against the darkness. But I want to tell you that I have learned how to inspire people even above my greatest grandfather, to inspire people that the greatest thing that we can do, even with unbelievers, is say, hey, have you ever been in a circle of people that are just honest about all the ordinary things in life, so that if they make a mistake, they can actually just be cared for? I made a big mistake. I did a thing that it felt good, but I don't want to repeat it. I don't want to be doing it again. I was stuck in a habit. I have been stuck in a habit that I know is not the best for me. I know it is not the best, and I need other people's help. So the most exciting thing is to be in a circle of people that help you just be funny and real about the areas that you're weak. That's why the super rabbi, the special strong teacher, he says, hey, I just celebrate my weaknesses. Like, hey, you guys, I want to tell you the areas where I'm weak and stupid, because if I don't get help from you guys and from God, I'm in trouble. And the show of excellence and goodness is not putting on a shiny image. The excellence and the goodness is actually shining a light on where we're weak, where we're no good. Hi, let me tell you where I'm no good. Because if you guys know where I'm no good, then maybe you can carry me in the areas where I get weak and I end up doing stupid stuff. Glory, 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 glory. So, light a candle, light a light, light an inspiration, rather than just cursing the darkness, driving out the demons, and figuring out the curses that are in your life. Yes, you need to figure those things out, but the most important thing is to be rushing together, to be immersed in a cheerful party, a family freedom party. To be surrounded by a family freedom party is actually better than thinking or worrying about all the bad. Because you know what? You may end up wanting to be away from a type of person that you think is bad, or has problems, when actually you need to be with those people, because they actually bring out the best in you. Don't just throw up walls against the darkness. Light a light and invite people in to where you are admitting your faults, because then they can say, oh, let me tell you my weaknesses. Let me tell you the little disasters that happened to me. Sometimes our disasters are self-inflicted. Sometimes we bring the disasters on ourselves. Sometimes we bring the disasters on our children because we haven't talked about our own disasters, so they don't even know what feels good, and they don't even know how you can get into trouble with what feels good. So it's a parental problem, and sometimes it's a personal problem. Sometimes we personally rape, ruin, and destroy ourselves. But then sometimes people come in and they rape, ruin, and destroy us. But it's all the same junk. There's no new trouble under the sun. So let's light a candle and say, hey, let me tell you what feels good. Let me tell you what the problems are with me. Let me tell you what pushes my buttons. I don't have problems in that area. Some people just don't have problems in this area or that area. They're totally chill in this area, but in other areas, they're just plain stupid and they really need some help. So, light a candle rather than cursing and attacking the darkness. But make sure that you listen to these two Derek Prince videos, the one on the basics of deliverance and the one on dealing with generational curses, because those things are real. But even if you don't know all the details, the greatest way to deal with all that darkness is to rise up in a family freedom party where you're free to talk about everything and all the weird little places that you haven't talked about, the little stories that are stuck in your heart that you haven't talked about. That's one of the great things about a transformation vacation. In a transformation vacation, you get to practice telling your disasters. It's a really great thing when you can quickly tell your disasters in a light-hearted, funny Mr. Rogers kind of way. Well, here's what happened. You know how this and you know how that, you know how this, well, here's what happened to me because of this and because of that. And it's not hard to figure out why. And the real problem is not people. The real problem is just the trouble spirits that are camped out on the people because they're chasing around and doing selfish, greedy things for themselves. And then we're hurting ourselves and we're hurting others. So light a candle. Don't just try to kick at the darkness and attack the darkness. Light a candle and learn how your family, if it's led by men who like to be real about everything, from the feel good to the personal problems and laziness. When men challenge themselves and one another to the most beautiful, perfect life, even celebrating our weaknesses, then we can have a peaceable family. And the thing that would really bring me relief is we can start on some of these beautiful projects, and I won't feel so sad inside that I resort to tragic little comfort things that make me feel horrible. Resorting to tragic little comfort things as an escape from sadness because I feel like nothing's finished and beautiful ideas are not complete and there's no team to work with and there's no beautiful business to raise the children up in and there's no good strong cash flow. And you can say, oh, it's my fault and I need to pull myself up by my bootstraps. But no, I'm a gift giver and somebody needs to give some of their gifts to me so that we can unify and be absolutely wonderful for these little children and help them be real and have a family freedom party throughout their entire lives. Imagine your own little favorite child being able to hear adults and people say, okay, how was I dumb? How are we goofy? Come on, let's look at our hearts. Where's the little dark place? Where's the little bad place? Where's the little selfish place? What thing are we resisting? Remember, Jesus called the commercial fishermen away for 3 years to do a special work. And not everybody did that. The women stayed at home and were strong women, but they were making sure that those men were supplied. They were connected with the ones that were having the 3-year transformation vacation, miracle walk. And the women were helping the ones that had the courage to bring the truth. And some of the women, the musicians and the super creative ones, they're going to need to take that long break, that transformation vacation, because they got so much heaven in them. They actually need to break loose and be free and walk into glory. And some are called to just, do good work with the hands and have a really wonderful temporal caring for the home and nurturing power, catching the children and keeping them in line and telling them some things we can do and some things we can't do. And that's one of the things that we cannot do. We just can't do that. Nope, nope, nope. Can't do that. And it's wonderful that we don't do that. It's just wonderful because it keeps everybody safe and it's just a good thing. Yippee. And here's how we handle that. We're real about this and we're really about that. And tomorrow it's time to make cookies. And then the next day it's time to practice our music. And we have wonderful things to do together because we are a family freedom party. Yahoo!